Thanks for logging on to Wayne.com for another edition of Inside the Zone. He's Tom Davis of the News Sentinel. I'm Glenn Marini, and it's week 6 of the high school football season. As you know, 9 weeks in the regular season of high school football, so we're just a little over mid-season, and that is why we're going to bust out, instead of really previewing the games or talking about last week's games too much, we're going to dive right into the mid-season awards. And it starts with the team, and there are so many teams that have played well this season. But Tom, who do you think at this point in the year is your team of the year?
Well, that's hard to say because there's 2 teams that are really dominant this year, but the best team in the area has to be Bishop Luers. Technically, they're 3-1 because of a forfeited game to Southside, but they won that game 53-0. They dominated Snyder. They've dominated everybody else that they've played. They're ranked #1 in 2A. They're the 2-time defending state champion. That's no disrespect to what Homestead's accomplished, or Cherubusco, or Leo, or Garrett, but Bishop Luers is my team of the year so far.
See, I'm going to go with Homestead. And
okay.
Are they? Tell me they're second for you. Tell me at least
they are
second
for
me.
me.
I'm going to go with Homestead, 52 points a game. Obviously, the schedule has been favorable for them, but 52 points a game. Their defense, as we've talked about many times, is better this season. And boy, Zach Terrell's having himself a great year, and so are other guys like Jake Weber, Isaac Griffith, who we really didn't know much about coming into this season. He's really exploded. And the one thing about Luers is the forfeit game, and it'll be interesting to see when the AP poll comes out later today whether that affects them as to being #1 in 2A, or whether people will say, doesn't really matter.
Right.
It's a victory, really, in people's head.
Precedent shows that it didn't affect Delta earlier this year when they had to forfeit a game against Carroll. It didn't affect their rankings at all. So I think if the voters actually do the research, they'll see that it really was no big deal whatsoever, other than it did give them officially a loss. But they're playing so well on both sides of the ball. But Homestead is much better this year, like you said, than they were last year. This is a different Homestead program this year, and but the proof will be in October and November with Homestead.
That's what I was going to say. The proof is in the playoffs when it comes to Homestead. So at the midseason, I'll grant you Bishop Luers. I won't argue you too much on that point, but I'm going to take Homestead because I like what the Spartans have done, and I think maybe this is the year that we'll be talking sectional championship for the Spartans.
Could be.
Could be.